Here in Key West, we were out before it was in. In this open and inclusive paradise, you can be yourself, make new friends, and savor our live and let live vibe. With LGBTQ plus friendly accommodations, our legendary nightlife, and year-round activities and events, it's always a good time to come as you are. Key West, close to perfect, far from normal.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Okay, is this okay? Okay, it's cool. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm your boy 12 Kyle, and as I mentioned in the intro, we got a special podcast this time. We're going to talk about three legendary basketball players, but we're not going to really focus so much on their accomplishments on the court and who got the most rings and who made it the most all-star teams. We're not going to do that. We're going to talk more about their impact on the culture. Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, and LeBron James. And of course, I got the homies. Anytime I'm talking basketball or anything crazy for that matter, I got to bring the homies in. First up, man, I mean, you've heard them on here before. The resident architect of the crew, Hampton University graduate, VA's own, back in VA. We should call him what? Back? Can we call him back? Yes,
we can.
He's from the crib. We grew up together. Like I said, been running with this cat about 30 years, man. My man, EazyduzitVa, aka my boy Zell. Zell, what up, man?
What up? What it do, man?
You got it, man. What's cracking?
Same old, man. Same old. Just trying to get into this basketball topics.
I know that's right. You know, anytime we talk basketball, I mean, I got to have, people who, like you, who, grew up with your arm tied behind your back and had to learn how to dribble left-handed. So yeah.
True.
Yeah. And my next co-host, man, another lifelong friend. I've been running with this cat about 30 years. Fresh off his vacation in the south of France.
Wow.
And we hadn't talked to him since he been back from the south of France. My man D Lovehall. D, what up, man?
What's good, fam?
How was the south of France, man?
Mexico was straight. It was warm.
Oh, you went to Mexico and the south of France?
I mean, Key West was straight. Key West and Cozumel.
Yeah,
how's that? Yeah, it was straight. I mean, wow! I can't believe we're doing this in the public eye.
I didn't talk about
seriously.
Your album. I didn't talk about your album.
I know, but why we got to talk about south of France in public? Like you could have did that way before this shit started.
It's much better on the pod.
This is true. I'm watching the end of actually just going off. I'm watching the credits of Black Klansman because until an hour ago, I had no clue what the topic was going to be, so I was preparing for anything. So Black Klansman just puts me in the mood for anything. I was ready for any topic.
Well, be honest, if I emailed you the topic and told you what we were talking about, you wouldn't have read the email.
I would have read the title of the email, but I wouldn't have read the questions. I'll give you that much. I'd have read the title.
You wouldn't have read the questions.
Hell no, I wouldn't have read the questions.
So there it is.
I want everybody to get the real answers. This is real.
And before we get started, are you drinking tonight, man?
Hold on. Can you hear it?
I thought I heard it earlier. Now,
just want to make sure you get it on the ice.
If those of you listening, you remember the first time, or at least not the first time. Was this the last time we had D Love all on here? And it sounded like somebody was It sounded like somebody was breaking into his place during the podcast.
I switched up. I switched up my operation, so don't worry about that.
Okay. You still got the wallpaper. The boombox.
Are we really doing this in the pub?
I was just asking, man.
Are we really doing? Okay.
Dope, I'm only saying it because I've been there. I mean, it's dope. It was dope. Oh man.
Yes, I still have the wallpaper. Now let's move on.
All right, so moving on. So let's get it cracking, man. Jordan, AI, and LeBron. And before we get started, I want to let some of you listeners know at some point in time during the conversation, you may hear us refer to Allen Iverson as Chuck or Bubba Chuck, because that's who he is to us fans. So just, understand if you hear us say Chuck, we're not talking about Charles Barkley, okay? So when we're thinking about these three iconic basketball players, and Zell, I'll start first with you. What was your first? And we'll go for each guy, and then we'll swing it back around. Your first memory of Michael Jordan. Do you remember the first time that you, on a basketball court, obviously saw him? What was your first memory that you can think of Michael Jordan?
I would have to say Carolina days, man. I go back that far as a little kid. My brother watched a lot of basketball. I was right there watching it with him. And I can just remember University of North Carolina, Mike. And even back then, he had all the little extra swag. And extra, extra gum and, the windmills and all this kind of stuff was happening. He was doing that even in college, and maybe not to the same clip because, he did play for Carolina. Mm-hmm. But, I still remember the swag from North Carolina and him hitting the big shot. I remember all those moments. And I say that's probably my earliest memories. Even at that time, I knew he would be good, but I didn't think he was going to be the greatest ever. Like, I probably didn't have that in mind, but he definitely was a superior athlete. I can remember, I guess, against, it might have been Maryland, where he pulled out the windmill. And, I'm like, come on, man. Nobody was doing it. So, yeah, I have to say Carolina Mike. For sure.
Okay. D, What about you? Your first memories of Jordan?
Here we go. All right, man. First of all, let me start by saying I was too young to know what hate was. So I can't say that I hated him.
Right.
But since Georgetown was my first team that I associated with, that I can say that I liked like that, my first, image or my first memory of him was the shot.
Okay.
Because y'all know my dad. My dad loves UNC.
Right.
So he forced me to watch those. He's a big, James Worthy fan back then. He was black. He loved all those dudes. So he forced me to watch those games whether I wanted to or not. Mm. So my first love with Georgetown, I can't say I hated MJ because I didn't know what hate was, but that shot, it lasted for a long time. Yeah, I just y'all get to do all the credit and who is this little dude?
Right.
Forget this little dude. But that was my first memory of him. And to co-sign what Zeke said, his second year, I think it might have been his sophomore year when he went to Maryland at the end of the game and did that little windmill, which was ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And that's when you started hearing about Lynn Bias. And I started getting into basketball really heavy probably around that time because my dad was into it. And I finally caught on to what he was watching. And MJ, where we lived, they showed Tar Heel games all the time. Right. Every game damn near was a Tar Heel game somewhere. Excuse me. So my first memory was the shot, but after that, I think his sophomore year was when I saw more of him. His freshman year, I didn't see him that much, but his sophomore year, I saw him, and I was like, yeah, okay, this cat is kind of nice. Mm-hmm. This I can't front. He hit the shot on my team that I liked then, but ultimately watching his game over his sophomore year, he was. And listen, it could have been some other players around the country that were doing their thing, but in South Carolina, we didn't get to see that.
Right.
Especially, especially in mid '80s,
right.
We didn't have all the channels back then. So exactly. Yeah, I saw a lot of him at Carolina, and I thought, just me personally, I thought this dude, if this is how cats play in college, I ain't never going to college. Because this dude is on another plane. But yeah, the shot was first.
Right.
But his sophomore year, I think that's when I started really, really noticing what he was about.
I think, and like you said, we all grew up in Florence, South Carolina. So the I can't remember, what was it? Viacom, I think, was the programming, and so we saw ACC basketball every Saturday. So there was always a game on TV, and I remember, like you said, Carolina games came on damn near every Saturday. And I remember his freshman year, I saw him before he hit the shot. It was a game against Wake Forest, and he got us. And I was barely, like you said, D. I was just getting into watching basketball at the time, and college basketball actually, because I started watching pro basketball in 1980. So college was just starting to come around, and this was like 81, 82. And I remember they were playing against Wake Forest, and the game was on. I really wasn't paying attention or whatever like that, and I just happened to look up, and he got a steal, and he got the ball on a breakaway, and he dunked it. I mean, like, he did this crazy windmill, cocked it back behind his head, and I mean, like, you ain't see nothing that flashy in college. And I was like, oh, snap. Anytime, back then, if you saw somebody dunk, you were excited, right? So he dunked, and then they put his name on the screen, and it said Mike Jordan. And I was like, because he wasn't Michael. He was right. Mike Jordan back then. They're like, I don't think they started calling him Michael until like his sophomore year after he hit the shot. And so he hit the shot, obviously, against, like you said, the Georgetown Hoyas in the championship game. And, things changed for him. And again, he went on to become, the All-American, the whole nine. But yeah, that was my first memory of Michael Jordan, him dunking against Wake Forest. And I just, like I said, I distinctly remember the name because he was Mike. And I was like, who the hell is this Mike Jordan? It was like, yeah, this freshman Mike Jordan, he's, and the announcers was singing his praises. It was just weird just thinking back on it now because he didn't, it wasn't nothing flashy about him. He had but like Zell said, he had a little swag about him. We didn't know what the hell swag was back then. he had a little flavor back then. So that was really, I thought that was really cool. Now conversely, D, what about you? Allen Iverson. Your first memory of Bubba Chuck?
It's the dude that's laughing. That's my first memory. I mean, I was in the Army at the time. I was in Hawaii, and I was calling y'all whenever I could or sending letters, whatever. And Zell at the time was at Hampton, and I don't know what year it was. I'm not gonna front like I remember that much, but I do remember I called him, and we was talking for a quick minute, and all of a sudden he was like, "Yo, dude. It's this little young dude just came on the yard with like a 40-foot Gucci link chain. And back then everybody had the Gucci links. He had the Gucci link, he had the do-rag. Yo, this little dude came on the yard and everybody was sweating him and he came on the court and I was like, man, bump this little dude. I got him. And dude came down the court full speed and made the ball disappear on the court, my nigga. And he ball behind his back. And he just stopped and the ball disappeared, nigga. And go boom, he had it back and he dunked on niggas. I was like, that's impossible. Like, I'm a soldier.
Right.
So in my mind, all I know is what's going on in Hawaii. If I see somebody dribbling the court and we don't like it, we elbow him in the chest.
Right.
So when Zell told me this story, I was like, no, that's not true. Can't nobody come down court full speed, drop the ball behind their back and just stop and the ball is gone. Shut up. I was just so mad. I was so mad. But then I started hearing more stories from some dudes who I knew from like New York upstairs. They was giving me these stories about they heard about this cat named AI. And I was like, whatever. Then somebody was like, yo, you like Georgetown, right? I'm like, yeah, that's my team. And like, yo, AI going to Georgetown. So I called Zell. He was like, yeah. Chuck is going to, he's going to G-Town. I'm like, all right, I'm going to check him out.
Right.
And I think, I'm trying to remember what tournament. It might have been the Maui Classic. I'm not sure. But I think they were playing Arizona. I'm almost certain it was Arizona. And Chuck went baseline and he two-hand reversed it baseline. And he's 5'10". At the time we thought he was 6'1", but I saw him in person. But when he reversed it two-hand, I'm thinking, no, something's not right. This dude can't do this. So I called Zell. I had to call the homie. And he was like, oh, I'm trying to tell you, that's him. That's that dude. He's like that. So Zell was the first one to put me on, and I didn't believe none of the stories Zell told me because I'm like, Zell, shut up. This is real. I'm in the real world. I'm shooting M16s, my dude. I don't want to hear this crap about this little dude. And then I saw him, and I was like, maybe. Okay. But the Arizona, I want to say, maybe it wasn't Maui Classic. They didn't play in it. They played in some tournament. And it was Arizona they were playing. He two-hand reversed it under the rim. And I thought, how did he get up there? So I Okay. Now I'm on. Now I'm sweating him. It's official.
Wow. My first memory, like you said, I think the first time I heard about him was from Zell, because as I mentioned at the top, Zell was at Hampton University, and I'll let him tell whatever Bubba Chuck stories he want to tell. So we had heard about him, and keep in mind, for those of you listening, there was no internet. I mean, we're talking, this is 95-ish, 94, 95, something like that around that time. And so there was no internet. So, if you heard about somebody, you probably read about them.
Right.
But, there was no YouTube to go to look at somebody's tapes or clips. Or Google, right. So I didn't actually see him until he arrived at Georgetown. And I think one of the first memories I had of him was it was in DC, and Georgetown was playing against their rival Syracuse, which is my favorite college basketball team, and we couldn't stay in front of him. I mean, like, there was nothing we could do. We tried to, they went to the 2-3 zone. He ran through the zone. I mean, he was just a guy that had so much energy. He was hitting shots, and this was, fade. One tattoo, Allen Iverson. This wasn't cornrows, but he had a bounce to him. He had that swag. He was you could tell he was cocky as hell, right? And I was like, he was one of those people that when you were on the court, you couldn't take your eyes off of him. And so, like, that was my first memory of Iverson. I don't even know how many points he dropped on us that night. I know that Georgetown won, and after that, I just kind of took notice, and it was like I was glad to see a player like that, but I was kind of mad because I was like, damn, Syracuse should have got him. I was, like, how the hell he end up at Georgetown? And then, of course, later on we heard about the being him going to jail, being granted clemency from former Virginia Governor Doug Wilder, and the story behind the brawl and the whole nine that happened in the bowling alley. You all know the story, so we're not going to rehash that. But that was my first memory of Chuck. What about you, Zell? Give us your whatever you want to share.
Listen, man, I probably could take the rest of the podcast document the number of stories that I probably have regarding this cat. But the first time I seen him, it was already like rumors around just the town, like, you need to go check this cat out at this school called Belter High School. And it was the local high school. And, his games used to be sold out and couldn't really get in. So that was already a thing. I didn't really know him. I just heard about him. So we had these outdoor courts behind the dormitories. I stayed in Hartness Hall. And at the time, I might have been, was I freshman, sophomore? I can't even remember. It had to have been out back. I might have probably been a sophomore when this was happening. And so, I ain't had no crazy rep, but I was always back there hooping. All my friends, we always used to hoop almost every day. Same thing we used to do when we was in Norwood Lane. We used to do the same thing. And we just go hoop. So, we had our squads. We used to run games. We take us forever to get off. We had all the cheat codes for the rims. We thought we was kind of like that. We running cats off the courts. So then this one dude showed up. I didn't know who he was. I looked around. I just saw the court getting packed. Like, people was coming to watch.
Wow.
So I just,
and it's a pickup game.
This a pickup game, dude.
Wow.
So then I'm looking around. I'm like, I'm trying not to even sweat the nigga. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He coming to the courts. Everybody's dapping him up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, man, who is this clown? You know what I mean? And so he had on his like jewelry, and he thought he was fresh, and he came and he had a couple of dudes with him, and so they was warming up on the side, and Cats was like, yo, you see, and I'm over there trying like to ignore like the whole thing. I'm like, man, ain't nobody tripping off that little freshman cat. You know what I mean? Like, this nigga about to get done up. So in my brain, I'm thinking, you're not coming on my court, player. and do none of that little dribbling display you putting on over there. There ain't none of that happening over here. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes.
And so then, you know how people be shooting around and stuff like that before the game start.
Right.
You know, Chuck going up, 2-hand dunk, cocoon, just casual,
wow.
right? And then niggas on my team was like, yo, you see this nigga up? You see the thing? I said, man, I don't see shit, dog. You know what I mean? I don't care. Ain't nothing but, yo, he got to get to the rim, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pumping myself up trying to get my team like, yo, man, forget that cat, yo. And so then they get their squad together, and then I think he shot for, who had a ball first. He made it, and then he rolled the ball down the middle of the court, said, check ball, right? Man, when I tell you that jank was like the parting of the sea, nobody picked up the ball. Nobody.
Because if you picked up the ball, that means you had to guard him.
Yes, the ball almost rolled all the way to the baseline. Like, hey, look. So then, me, dog. I like, man, whatever, man. I got ball. Y'all got ball. So I get aggressive and I check ball back at it, had him hard. He's like, yo, check ball, let's go. He checked it back at me. I gave it back to him. And so then, the game was going on, and the first time I got isolated on Chuck, man, it was different. You know what I'm saying? So he got the ball back, and I'm sitting down in my position. I got him kind of angled to the left. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to make him go left.
Yeah, I'm making him go left. And man, all his movements were so unbelievably quick that it was disturbing at first. and it was funny because I was like,
oh shit,
he got by me so easily. I mean, it was really easy. He got by me, and I think the first time he got to the hole, he laid it up and slapped the glass like, get up, you all this cussing and everything.
So disrespectful.
Yeah, I was like, all right, word, that's all. Okay, dog. And so then I tell a guy, I said, you ain't no more layups, dog. I told my guy.
You ain't the Knicks B.
Yeah.
No more layups.
We can't have niggas skipping through our
defense. Do you heard that? AI passed him and he telling the team no more layups.
Yeah, you got to be in help. You know what I'm saying? I got to have help. So I'm pushing him to the side. I push him towards the help. And if we get to the rim, dog, we got to just, ball up. You know what I'm saying? Ball up, dog. We got to shoot jumpers out here, dog. So he went to the hole a couple of times, and we did kind of touch him up a little bit. He said, oh, y'all trying to hurt me out here. That's what y'all trying to do? All right, word. I see what we about to do. So then the game started getting into transition. So this is when the famous play happened. So it's coming down in transition. And it looks crazy because you're not supposed to be able to go side to side and run at full speed. You're not supposed to be able to do that.
Right.
But there was a moment where this cat came down, and I think everybody remembers seeing the Jadakiss Allen Iverson Reebok commercial.
Yeah.
Where he's throwing the ball behind his back with one hand and catching it with the same hand. Well, that was his signature move. He actually did that in the game. So he's coming down, going inside out, getting through defenders, and then he throws the ball behind his back, all the way around his back, and catch it with the same hand. And I'm sitting there like, where did the ball go? Where did the ball? And then I turn my head, I look up. He throws the joint up, and he did it, how LeBron threw it off the backboard and catches it and dunks it.
Right.
So he threw it up, and my homeboy thought it was an alley-oop. So he started backpedaling and tried to get up and get the alley-oop. It hits the backboard, and then comes barreling down the lane. And he grabs that joint with two hands, and he dunks it in transition. This is all off making the ball disappear.
Wow.
And
full speed,
dog. And when I tell you, the entire campus erupted.
The whole campus, all of Hampton University.
If you can imagine the Rucker, dog, how like people be hanging out the projects and out the window.
Right.
Yo, I looked up and literally, because the dorm was like 5 stories high and it was like 3 dorms surrounding the court. I looked up and it was literally people looking out of the window, watching the game. And I couldn't believe, I said, this cat just made the ball disappear. So then the next play, and this was game point. So he come down, right? He waves everybody off. It's just me and Bobachuck.
Wow.
He waves everybody off. He pushing everybody down to the baseline. I got it. And so he talking to him. He looking at me. He said, you know I'm about to hit game, right? That's what he's like. You know it's game. You know this about to be game, right? Like, he's telling me this is about to be game. I was like, whatever, nigga. At that time, I'm fake hard now because I don't see the ball disappear.
Yeah, you got nothing to lose now.
Yeah, I'm really fake hard. None of this what I'm doing is real. Whatever, nigga. You ain't going to the hole. I know that. I know you ain't. So I'm trying to punt the nigga and go into the hole so we can touch him up. You know what I'm saying? I know one thing. You ain't gonna go to the hole. I know one thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, shit.
So then he hit me with the signature move number 2. You know what I'm saying? So he comes down and he's skipping with the ball, like skipping my loop. He's skipping with it, dog. He's skipping with the ball.
Wow.
Right? And then he comes down and he goes hard left. And the ball raises up in his hand. And if you remember the Michael Jordan double cross, that's what he hit me with for game point.
Wow.
Except he only did it once. You know what I'm saying?
He hit you with the AI crossover.
He hit me with the crossover, bruh. And the ball was so high in his hand. And you know me, I think I can rip anybody. So I go in for the rip. And I go in for the rip. And then he just rolls the ball under my hand. And before I could even contest the jumper, he's elevating into his jump shot.
Wow.
And then he knocks the J down. And he said, point, nigga. And then, now, after he says, point, nigga, he begins to grab his do-rag and the rest of his... He goes over to the sidelines and grabs his little stuff, his jewelry, and his little whatever mixtapes or whatever he has. And he's like, man, I'm done out here. These niggas ain't gonna hurt me. I'm done out here, dog. I'm done. Work done. And then him and his boys, they disappeared. And my other homeboy said, where did they go? It looked like they walked across the water. That niggas came and had a outdoor performance and walked across the water. Game over.
Oh my God. And
that was my first experience.
And what we failed to mention was that, first of all, Zell can play ball. He can hoop. So it's not like this. We talking about a scrub here. And at the time, you're a college sophomore.
Yes.
AI he's in high school at this point.
Yes.
He's what, a junior in high school, something like that?
Yeah, this is when we played out back. This is right before his trial.
Oh wow.
And so then after he went, whatever, they put him in jail or whatever that was, whatever detention or whatever that was, he went. I told my homeboys after I realized who that was, I kept my Nikes with the black shoestrings in it. I didn't play in them no more because I played against Iverson.
You never told me that part. You never told me that part of the story.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and my homeboys joke me. They're like, yo, you still got the shoes? You still got the shoes. That nigga crossed you up.
Oh, my God. That is hilarious.
And listen, one of my homeboys, he always joked me. He said, yo, man, we never had to help Zell out with his man on the perimeter like that. He's like, every time they turn around, that nigga Chuck was coming down.
It wasn't nothing they could have done to help other than foul.
But that's all we was doing. We was hacking the shit out of him. I mean, he did start putting up jump shots, but that didn't work either because he was making those. Wow. So yeah, And then after that, man, I think I saw him. He was like playing against the Hampton University basketball squad, and he made me feel better because he used to go up there and play and practice and, you know, go runs with some of the college players.
Okay.
And he literally used to pee on the whole team. Like it was he was out there making the whole Hampton University team look like he played against me and my friends.
Wow.
So, and that was before, you know, he didn't even play his senior year in high school. So, you know what I'm saying? He went to Georgetown just off of like, you know, 3 years of basketball.
Yeah. And was all state in football as well too.
Yeah. Wow. And one pick after 1 year of college. So I mean, that's almost like undeveloped talent. You got to think about it. He only played college for 1 year and only played high school ball for 3 years. So he wasn't really polished.
Mm-hmm. Very, not even seasoned. Oh man, that is a that's a great story. That might be one
classic,
of the best stories ever told on this podcast.
That's classic. I remember he told me that story, and I was so mad. Like, man, you don't let anybody blow by you. Who's this little dude talking about?
Right.
I was mad. I had no idea who he was talking about. It's funny, but I was mad.
It's funny because I remember when he told me the story, I'm still like, okay, who the hell is Chuck? Who is Bubba Chuck? He's like Allen Iverson.
Right.
And again, I don't know who Allen Iverson is at this point because again, there's no internet. There's no. I mean, I'm in South Carolina. I'm at South Carolina State at this point. I don't know nothing about no Allen Iverson. Oh my God. Conversely, Zell, your first memory of LeBron.
Yeah, man. ESPN, man. St. Mary's. What is it? St. Vincent, St. Mary's.
St. Mary's. Yeah.
Yeah, man. ESPN game. First time. I don't know how many he dropped, but I just remember Dick Vitale and everybody, his high school game being aired on ESPN. And, you know, that was the coming out party for him as far as, you know, his notoriety nationally. And, I mean, they all knew about it, but that was the first time I think the entire world got a chance to see it on display. And, yeah, man, 6'8", with handles, can play any position. I mean, the most probably talked about high school player in the history of the game. Yeah, that was my first thing. You know, that whole thing with the tattoos being taped up because coaches didn't want to have their tattoos out. You know, so it was that was my first witness of me witnessing the king.
Okay.
That sounded terrible.
Yeah, your first time witnessing being a witness. What about you? Your first time, first memory of LeBron?
It's the same game, and I think Bill Walton may have been another person that was calling because he was sucking his balls, and I couldn't stand it. So it was the same game, and I'm gonna just be honest because y'all know me. See, when Mike did his thing, I didn't know I was a hater. When LeBron came up, I knew I was a hater, so I hated immediately. Like, I was like, okay, we had Vic Collins at 6'10", and he couldn't chew gum and run at the same time. I'm not impressed by this kid. I'm not impressed by this dude in high school. His point guard is 5'8", who never touches the ball. I'm not impressed by nothing he does. I wasn't impressed by, but quietly I was, but I couldn't tell nobody I was. Because everybody was just he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yep.
And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not buying the whole Hummer shit. I'm not buying none of that. But that first game, he looked like a man amongst boys because practically he was. I mean, think about when we was in school. Who was the biggest cat who played ball, who could actually run and dribble? Like, was it Keyshawn? Yeah. Was he the biggest?
Yeah. Well,
that could do both?
Or maybe Jermaine Brunson.
Could he do both, though? I mean, I know he wouldn't ball, but could Brunson do both?
Yeah.
Like, Keyshawn could run and dribble. I knew not like he couldn't cross you up.
Right.
He was more like a Blake Griffin type of dribbler, but he could still do it.
He was 6'4", so.
You know what I'm saying? So we didn't know that. Mm-hmm. We didn't see that in high school. So when I saw him at St. Vincent's, I was kind of like, yeah, he should. But I was when I stopped my hate train and I watched, I did kind of say, you know what? He is rather athletic for 6'8". Mm-hmm. I can try to hate all I want to, but for 6'8", he don't look goofy.
No.
There was no goofball about him. Oh, he was very athletic, and I said, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, you know, in high school, it's cute. We'll see.
Right. Yeah, man. I remember, much like you guys, same thing. The ESPN game. and I can't remember which one came first. I do remember hearing about him, and I do remember the SI cover. I can't remember if the SI cover came first or the ESPN game came first. But those are my two first memories of him. And that game that was on ESPN, I tuned in like everybody else just to see what the fuss was about. Because I'm like, okay. They were like, this guy's 6'8". He has vision like magic. He can run the floor like a gazelle. He's this, he's that. And I'm like, okay, let me see if he's a real deal. Because, I mean, again, he's playing in Ohio, and that was another, for us basketball fans, at least for me. I won't go as far like D said I was hating, but to me I was like, okay, this is this great basketball player, and he's playing in where? Ohio? Like there were some great players that come out of Ohio that, came out around the same time that I did. But at the same time, Ohio, Akron, Ohio it wasn't like he was from Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? Or from LA, or Chicago. That's where or Detroit, that's where we knew the ball players came from. So, when I got word that this kid was supposed to be the next best thing and he was from Akron, Ohio, I'm like, okay. And so I watched the game, and yeah, he was impressive. But, like to Dee's point, I don't want to say I was hating, but I was impressed, but I also kind of in the back of my mind was like, well, these are high school kids, and he clearly was a man amongst boys. I mean, it wasn't, I don't think there was anybody else out there his size. And if there was, they weren't, like you said, if he's 6'8" and he was agile. I think at one point, I don't know if it was that game or the second time he was on ESPN, where he got the ball on the break and he went and dunked it in between his legs. And, so I was like, okay, this dude, he's the real deal. But you never know until you see them up against, the regular competition. So I was waiting to see what he was going to look like in college. And, of course, we know he did not go to college. But yeah, I was impressed. He left a lasting impression. I think one of those games he scored like 35 or something. He had like 35, 10, and 7 or something like this. Something crazy.
And it was easy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Easy.
It was easy. I can't front. It was easy.
Yeah. He made it. Even his jump shot was there. The way that he distributed the ball, the way that he took command of the game, he made it look easy. And it was, in a lot of ways, very similar to how he looks now. Wherein, if you watch LeBron play now, he might finish with 29, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and you look at the box score and like, okay, I don't remember him doing all of this, and he does it so effortlessly. And I think that's one of the things that I think stood out to me even back then about LeBron and his game. As we talk about the three, like I said, we're going to talk more about, what they did culturally wise. So I guess one of the other things I want to ask is, we talked about our first memory. D, what's your favorite memory from LeBron? Favorite memory?
Wow. You asking a LeBron hater to give you his favorite memory of LeBron. Let me see.
A LeBron hater who actually, and you're a Lakers fan, and now he plays for your team.
And we're not going to discuss that in public.
We're not. We're talking about the culture. We're not talking about. We'll save that for another podcast.
I'm trying to think. I want to say my. You said my favorite memory of him.
Favorite memory, yes.
When he dropped 25 on Detroit in the fourth, did he call somebody a bitch?
I don't think he did.
I want to. Or was it against Boston? Did he call Garnett a bitch? Somebody he kind of went off in a fourth in a big game, either Boston or Detroit. I know Detroit he had a 25, but I think maybe Boston he might have had a big fourth, and he finally did what I've been begging for him to do. You're 6'8", 260, and probably 2% body fat. Mm-hmm. Like, you're all muscle. You're a manly man. You cannot be punked on the court. One of those games, either the Detroit game or the Boston game, he let it out, and he let the real nigga out. Like, y'all really can't stop me. Mm-hmm. For all the shit y'all talking in the press, ultimately, none of you can't touch. And that's for the people who always say I hate LeBron so much. The reason why I can't say I hate LeBron, I wanted him to play to his size. Somebody hit the bebop on. Let me hold on to bebop.
Zell, is that you?
Oh, that's my cover. Go ahead.
Y'all can't blame me for that one. But no, LeBron he's so much more, he's so gifted athletically, and he's so big and strong. I wanted him sometime to just be like, fuck all of y'all. And the 25 against Detroit, he did that, but somebody he called a bitch. Like, it might have been Boston. See, when you call, like, when he dunked over the dude in Chicago, the little the third John I'm talking about
John Lucas.
Yeah, John Lucas.
Yeah, when he did that, I wasn't impressed. John Lucas 5'6". You should have did that shit. I wasn't impressed. But when he does it against like real G's, Rasheed Wallace in his prime and all that, that's when I'm like, yeah, go get some. So either the 25 against Detroit in the fourth, or when he went off again, I can't tell you the numbers, but it had to be Boston because there wasn't really nobody in the East that was really like that. He was coming out of the monster came out like, y'all putting Tayshaun Prince on me, fuck y'all. You know, it was like insulting. He finally realized it's insulting for y'all to keep calling him a lockdown defender on me. So that's my favorite memories of him. It was the Boston 25. And I don't know what the numbers were against Boston. I mean, I'm sorry, the Detroit 25. And the Boston, whatever he did to them when he finally realized that they couldn't guard me, and he just, y'all, what y'all gonna do? That's when I like him. I like him when he finally comes out and says, yeah, my teammates might not be able to do what y'all think, but y'all can't stop me, bitches. And he goes for it. I like that.
What about you, Zell?
I think the Detroit game, that's up there for me. I think probably the hardest moment, I think they may have been down 3-2 on the road. He was in Miami to Indiana. And he came in that joint, game face, no laughing and no playing.
Yeah.
And everybody was trying to talk to him he was like ignoring conversation. Yeah. He wouldn't talk about on the floor. Yo, he was just quiet. I think he had like a 40-something, and like he almost had like a 40-point triple-double or something like that.
It was all business.
Yeah, he just like down 3-2 on a closeout game, and he was on the road, and he was like basically sending a message like, "Nah, y'all not closing this out. Not while I'm on the floor."
Yes.
And I remember that moment, and I had to give the Cleveland coming back from game 7 moment, Cleveland, this is for you.
Hold on. Did you like that for real? Did you like that for real though? That felt so generic.
Well, he said it's his favorite. We talking about favorite memories.
I know, but what he did was great, but him saying that felt generic.
No, not him saying that.
I think
Okay.
I was just making fun of the fact that he did that, but no, the actual moment of him coming back. Okay. And the whole series, and Draymond Green, and then Draymond Green, if they would have came back, if he would have played in Game 6, everybody says Golden State probably would have closed them out. Well, Draymond Green came back, and in Game 7, Draymond Green had 30-some points, and
it didn't matter.
It didn't matter.
Right. All it didn't matter.
So yeah, I have to say those two moments stand out the most to me. And there are probably some other ones, but those are significant because of the game and the championship playoffs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I'd have to say the 25 straight he scored against Detroit. I think that was the moment where, and people talked about when and where he was going to take his game to the next level. I think that was it right there. Like, that was where he just kind of showed everybody, like, if I have to, I'll put these people on my back and I will carry them. And I think it was at that point where the league just kind of took notice, like, okay, we already knew what kind of talent he was, but he really just kind of elevated his game to the next level, because at that particular time, nobody gave him a chance in hell at beating Detroit. And I mean, for him to just put them on his back and dominate the way that he did in the fourth quarter, just making it count, I think that experience kind of helped propel him to, like you said, Zelda, the 40-point game that he had when he was just ice grilling everybody. The time in Miami, obviously the winning of the championship, and how he came, because quiet as kept, people remember the block shot or whatever in Game 7, but he had stellar games just to get them back. I think it was Game 5 and Game 6. Go check the stats on that. Those games, he was incredible. I'm talking, 30-plus point triple-doubles. And so, and a lot of people are going to give Kyrie, because Kyrie did hit the shot, but I think, you have to give LeBron a lot of credit too, because at that particular time it was a standoff. I think if I'm not mistaken, that game was at like 89-89 for like 4 minutes straight. I've never seen an NBA Finals game where neither team. I mean, like they were just, and it was Game 7, so that they had to dig in defensively.
Lemon booty showed up.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, hey, somebody got to take a shot. You know what I'm saying? And it's easy to take a shot when you're, if it's Game 1 or Game 2, but it's Game 7. You don't want to be the one to make a mistake. So, but yeah, I think those are probably my two favorite memories. And my third memory is kind of it's a petty one, but I remember when LeBron, when he went lemon booty against Dallas, and and I remember Jason Terry talking so much shit about LeBron. And I mean, like Jason Terry, and don't get me wrong, Jason Terry is a very good player. He's had a great, he had a great run in the league. But for him to be talking shit about LeBron, like he was talking about LeBron like LeBron was a poo butt. Yeah. And that alley-oop that LeBron caught on him, that Dwayne Wade threw on him, oh my gosh. That is like my third favorite LeBron memory, because LeBron handled it a whole lot better than I would have, because I would have just stood over him and just got the tech. I'd just start cussing and just got the tech.
But he did get a tech, and I don't know why. He did get a tech, and I don't know why. He didn't say nothing. I don't know why. He didn't earn a tech on that.
No, he didn't earn a tech. I would have earned my money's worth for that. So conversely, Jordan, Zell, your favorite MJ moment?
Jeez, man. I would have to say flu game, maybe.
Okay.
I'm saying flu game only because.
Now, was it the flu or was he drunk?
I was just about to say that.
That's a rumor.
I was just about to say.
I'm more apt to believe that he was hungover than it was the flu.
Well, I mean, I was about to say real niggas know he was hungover. but look, that's still impressive though. A hungover game. I mean, flu game, hungover game, whatever it was to close out. And then I think you can't forget not even the flu game, and then of course his last game with the shot and the push off and holding the follow through. The push off, man. He did play. If he was playing now, that would have been called. That nigga pushed that nigga in the butt, yo. Who does? Hey, those are my two. I think those are my two signature moments. Of course, like his championship runs. I'm very critical of his championship runs, because I don't think Mike played in a serious final, like for real. Like, I don't think he ever was pushed or tested. I mean, like, you think about the Lakers when he played when Magic was 100 years old with a bad hamstring, and then
Magic ass though.
Oh, please, that don't even count. Magic was old as hell then. And then look,
he's trying to bait me. He's trying to bait me to say something. I know what that's all about. I'm not falling for that.
We're not talking about Magic tonight.
No, I ain't talking about Magic. No, what I'm
trying to bait me.
Oh, look, but the point I was gonna make was Mike went through the air and he went in for the lean dunk and switched hands to the left hand layup. And I saw that play. I was like, that's clearly somebody who's not worried about losing. I mean, clearly.
Did you see the reason he gave why he did that play?
Yeah, he said Sam
Perkins was down there. You ain't never banged on Sam Perkins when you was at Carolina. You're lying. You banged on Sam Perkins at Carolina. You lying mother. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, man. So I think Mike has some real manufactured moments, but I think, like the hungover game and for the championship. So I say those two moments.
Okay. D, what about you? Favorite MJ moment?
I don't have one.
You lie.
I'm not gonna play with your fans like that. I don't like Michael Jordan. I didn't like him
But you have a favorite MJ moment.
I mean, he ain't never lost a title, so I can't say when he lost a title. So, nah. I mean, all right,
the Pistons was slamming him to the ground. That was probably.
But I didn't like the Pistons either. Y'all beat us too, so I'm gonna do that. Y'all beat us too. Nah. Favorite Mike. I honestly, I'm being honest, man. Wow. No, I can't do it. I didn't like him like that. I can't do it.
You don't have to like him to have a favorite.
The shrug. The 3-point shrug. Portland. The shrug.
That was cute.
Once again, manufactured. Mike,
see, that's my thing.
That wasn't manufactured. He dropped like 35 points in a quarter.
Yeah, but when he did the shrug, he had 8.
Yo, he was in a finals.
He was in a consecutive threes.
Listen, he was in a finals game playing around. He's playing with these cats, man. Yeah. You don't do the. He's shrugging. Okay.
I mean, I see. The thing is, if you ask me about some MJ highlights, he had some highlights that I remember, but I didn't watch all the games back then with him playing, so I can't say and I hated. Y'all know me. I hated him. I couldn't watch that cat. He was great, and I couldn't do it. I was like, nah, I can't. So a favorite MJ moment will be like saying, I don't have one, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't do it. He was cool. He was great. He was the greatest. I don't have no favorite moment of his. Fuck him.
Man, the 4-5. What about the 4-5, Mike?
I mean, when he hit the shot in the garden and tapped the floor, that might have been cute. I don't know. I mean, he had some cute moments, but favorite. All right. No, I can't say that neither because that was Pat Ewing, and that's my boy. Wow. All right. Maybe this is gonna sound kind of ill. Maybe when he choked out Reggie Miller and tried to punch.
Okay, that's one.
Because he had it was like a human moment. Like he was so inhumane. You know what I mean? No, it almost felt like nobody could get to him. Xavier McDaniel, Gary Payton, cats tried to get to him, and all they did was make him mad and make him play better. Reggie got him to choke him and try to punch him in his face. So maybe when he reacted to Reggie, I was like, oh, finally he's human. Thank you. Right. So that I'll take that one right there.
Okay.
The Reggie Miller chokeout.
Man, you guys know I'm a huge Jordan fan. There's a lot of memories, man. I think probably my favorite memory. Damn, man, that's crazy. It's so many of them, man. I'll probably go back to the first title against the Lakers. There was a move that he had. He went base. He was on the left side. He was on the left elbow, and he went baseline. And Sam Perkins came over to kind of to block him, I guess. And whoever was, I think it was might have been Cooper, not Cooper. Scott. B. Scott was guarding him. He blew past Scott, and Sam Perkins came up to block Jordan because Jordan went up for the dunk. And when he went up, he bumped into Sam. And keep in mind that they played together at Carolina. When he went up in the air, he bumped Sam Perkins. And I kid you not, when he hit Sam Perkins, he went up like maybe 2 more inches. And Sam was going down.
Well, what did Jordan do after that?
He dunked it.
Thank you. But he claimed he did a little other layup because Sam Perkins.
It was so nasty. It was so nasty. So yeah, that series, that moment in that series was probably because that was the first time, again, seeing him win a title, and obviously he was, very emotional and everything afterwards. But Jordan had so many memories. I mean, like you said, I really could do a podcast on just Jordan memories. So we want to talk about, these 3 guys, because I think, as I mentioned at the beginning, I started watching NBA basketball in 1980. And that was right around the arrival of Magic Johnson, right around the arrival of Larry Bird. And I remember, the NBA really wasn't in a good place. I mean, games were on tape delay. what that means for you youngsters out there listening, you could watch the 6 o'clock news and know what the score was to the game, and then they would play it back at 10 o'clock that night on TV. So you really had no reason to watch the game if you saw the score. But the three of them actually really, I think, impacted the culture both on and off the court. So that's why I want to go right with this question. And we'll start first with MJ. Zell, how do you think MJ changed the culture? Just the overall culture, not just basketball culture, because I know that's a part of it. But what do you think his impact and how did he change the culture of sports and how we view sports?
I think he was the face of just like I don't want to use the word globalization. I'll say that for example, the average person who doesn't watch basketball probably watched basketball because of Michael. And I can really just say like my mom and dad didn't want to miss Chicago Bull games. Wow. because they just wanted to watch Mike, like especially in the finals. They'd be like, "Don't that boy from North Carolina come on tonight?" It would be that kind of, and my mom did not actually have that sort of affinity for any other players. I think lately, because of all the hype with LeBron, she started wanting to, when the letter and going back to Cleveland, she started kind of getting intrigued with that little storyline. But as far as Mike, I think Mike just brought the new fan to basketball. I think prior to that, even with what Magic and Bird did as far as just making it mainstream, Mike took it to another level. I think he added, and just, it took what Magic and Bird did and multiplied it times 1,000 with what he did for the game as far as just branding and how, you just dealt with, how people market branding and Nike and all the things he did with selling products. And he just became a face of just sports in general. Like everybody wanted a piece of his magic and what he brought to, their brands, Hanes and all those things. So Mike was just big. He was an articulate, guy. So he was marketable from that standpoint. We all knew, real cats knew Mike was a thug, and Mike, Mike probably had, a dime or some nick bag somewhere and stogies, we know that Mike was in the world, but to the cross section of America, he was a darling for the most part. Right. We ain't know how disrespectful Mike was till Hall of Fame speech. And,
he was so disrespectful.
And niggas was like, Mike kind of off. Like, I was like, that was the one time Mike wasn't on script. He was not on script for his Hall of Fame speech. He just totally just went left. So yeah, man, I would have to say that, man. I would just say his impact was just bigger than the game of basketball, actually.
No doubt. D, what about you? How do you think Mike changed the culture?
I think there's something that Zeke mentioned earlier about MJ's college days. He had a different swagger. And we didn't really know what that meant. Like, we had Magic, we had Bird, we had Isaiah, the Converse kids that we called them. They had a lane, but it wasn't something didn't resonate with the urban kids when it came to those guys. And as big as they were, Dr. J, something about their personalities didn't resonate with us. When Mike got those the Jordans, and then he hooked up with Spike Lee, it automatically resonated with us. You see what I'm saying? Like Magic and those guys in the McDonald's commercials and the Converse commercials, that was good stuff. But we were just finding out about Spike. You know what I'm saying? And Spike represented what we felt in our souls. And everything from the Nike commercials resonated around Mike and Mars. And we could relate to that because we had seen She's Gotta Have It.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Spike wasn't global yet, but for us, Spike was that dude. So to see Mike with Mars, a.k.a. Spike, that resonated to us. That swag, all of that, it just drizzled down to us. We felt everything about that. So we didn't care about anything else he did. We want to see more Jordan commercials. We want to see what he going to wear next time. How he going to, they ban his sneakers. We want them now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the weapons was cool. I had some weapons. Yeah, the weapons was cool, but they banned Jordans. Right. I got to have those. Right. They banned his joints, and he's hanging out with Mars Blackman. Mars is that dude. Like everything, I don't know who was the genius behind Mike hooking up with Mars, Spike. But when they did that, and added it with Mike's little country swag, it all made sense to us. You see what I'm saying? It just the other guys, the corporate, they were more corporate. All the guys who were signed with Converse, Robert Parrish and Kevin McKay, all those guys, they were good corporate dudes. Mm-hmm. Nike was a rebel company.
Yes, it was.
At the time, Nike was a rebel company. It was on the up. We didn't know much about Nike. So you get this young cat from North Carolina, Brooklyn, but from North Carolina, you know what I mean? He's dunking on dudes. We can identify with the dunks and all the high flying plays he makes. And then some genius put him with Mars Blackman. It all made sense. It exploded to us. We could finally relate. We didn't give a damn about Magic going to no French Lick to play Larry Bird at his house. That was cute. We didn't care about that. But Mike dunking on Mars, hanging on the rim, that we knew Mars. So his swag back then, it made a cultural difference, and that was the beginning of I gotta have those sneakers. Mm-hmm. I gotta have that jersey. I gotta have the hat. I gotta have everything with the Jumpman on it.
Yeah, he I think one of the ways that he changed the culture was that Jordan was, like Zell said, acceptable. And his people accepted him, across the board. And it didn't matter if it was, like Zell said, his parents, white people, it didn't matter. And that appeal came across. Like you said, he was well-spoken. He always appeared to be, back then, he wasn't going to wear nothing too outlandish like, some of these cats dress now. But he was always well-dressed, well-spoken. He played the game with, so much energy and passion, and he was a winner. So when all of that and all of this happened like at the right time. He got with a company, like you said, like Nike, who needed someone, to pitch their products and everything like that. And once he became a spokesperson for Nike, then it was Gatorade, then it was McDonald's, and he became a national pitch man. On top of all of that, he was killing them on the court. You even go back to 1988, Jordan wins the MVP. I think he was the I want to say he won the All-Star Game MVP that year. He robbed Dominique of the slam dunk title. And I think he was like first team all NBA defense or something. Or maybe he might have been defensive player of the year. I'm not even sure. I mean, so he got it done on the court and off the court, and he became a national pitch man. And I think the shoes obviously was one of the things that propelled him. Like I said, one of the biggest things that they ever did for Jordan, and he benefited from, was the fact that he was in a game, an NBA game, and the referee threw him out of the game because of his shoes. And he said, well, why? They said, well, you got to get out of the game. And he said, why? They said, well, you can't wear those shoes in this game. And he said, well, why can't I wear these shoes? He was like, the ref said, because the shoes don't have enough white in them. And they literally threw him out of the game because the Jordans that he had on, they were red and black. They didn't have any white in them. And so that right there, and the rebel culture of how we were at that particular time in the 80s, that made kids want to get the shoes. Okay, these are the shoes that got this guy kicked out of a game. Okay, let's buy these. And it didn't matter how much the shoes cost for some people. But yeah, Jordan, he was the blueprint. If there was no Jordan, there would be no Iverson, there would be no LeBron. Obviously, there'd be no Kobe, nobody as far as how these and not just basketball players, but just athletes in general. He was the blueprint, excuse me. And so I think what he was able to do in being able to reach people and sell products and then also produce on his and be the best at what he was doing, spoke volumes. And I think at that particular time, and I think really for each three of the people that we're talking about, history-wise, we caught lightning in a bottle. I don't know that you're going to see another Jordan. I don't know that you're ever going to see another Iverson. I don't know that you're going to see another LeBron. And that's what this podcast is going to talk about. Conversely, Bubba Chuck. The list goes on and on, but how I know there's so much that can be said about how he changed the culture. What's your take on how Allen Iverson changed the culture? On and off the court.
Dress code.
No question.
I'm going to start there. He actually made David Stern so nervous that he made them implement a dress code for off the court when they show up at the arena. Like, let that sink in for a minute. He made them, like, no matter what they was doing beforehand, when he started seeing them do-rags and Eagles jerseys, David Stern was like, nah, dude. We need some button-ups around here. Y'all got to have some button-ups. So he changed that. He gave other players. I'm gonna let that sink in. I'm gonna let that go. All right, ready? Cool.
Hey Zell, what you doing over there, man? You cooking or something, man?
Nah, man, I'm just moving around. We good.
Yeah. So
Zell over there getting robbed.
we're not doing that. I love you, brother. We ain't doing that. Chuck gave other players the courage to be themselves, and some of them even went beyond who they really were. You know what I mean? Like they wanted to have the cornrows. They wanted to get the sleeves tatted up on their arms. They wanted to do all that, but they didn't have the balls to do it. But once Chuck was doing it, every other player started doing it. And then, people can try to say that they did it before him. No, they didn't. It wasn't everybody, like every team had like 4, 5, 6 dudes with cornrows after Chuck. Like it was amazing how many dudes around the league had cornrows, and even white players were walking around with do-rags, Eminem. And then you just had like everybody saw that and was like, yo, I can be me. And then when he started doing, when he dropped 40 bars, all bets were off. Kobe, take that record off the shelves. Please do it now.
40 bars.
When
you say 40 bars, explain to those who weren't around or maybe couldn't come outside, what was 40 bars?
Okay, so AI, a.k.a. Jewels, he was a rapper too, y'all. And Jewels wasn't PG. Jewels was a killer. And Jewels dropped 40 bars and was basically shooting cats in the song. And when people heard
the
that,
hell out of David Stern.
David Stern was really like, this can't be an MVP of my league doing this. This can't be an all-star MVP. This can't be a leading jersey seller. Like AI was doing everything according to corporate America wrong, but he reached the masses in numbers that they couldn't deny. And he everybody who's doing their thing now, like I know y'all looking at, not y'all, but people in general see these players with all these tats and all this stuff, and they think it's normal. It wasn't normal before Chuck. It wasn't. People might have had 1, 2,
if that,
maybe 3, maybe 3 tats back in the day. Chuck started getting the sleeves. He started coming to games, getting his mama to braid his hair on the sidelines. These things weren't, you wouldn't know about Gloria if it wasn't for Chuck's moms.
And Iverson.
You dig what I'm saying? There's some things that him and his family did when they got to the league that everybody thinks is normal now, but it was not normal before Chuck. It just was not. So he changed. He brought. I don't know if I want to say it like this. He might have made it he might have normalized the hood nigga in the NBA. I'm gonna let that marinate on people. He possibly could have normalized the hood nigga in the NBA because they existed, but they still had to put on their show. They still had to put on their suits and their ties, and they had to talk properly. But now when you see cats doing hood cat stuff, and you like, oh, that nigga crazy. AI might have been the first one to normalize that as a superstar.
Wow, that is a great point. Great point. Zell, what about you, man? Chuck, what do you think his impact and change on the culture was?
I think Derek summed it up, man. I mean, you know, if I'm not mistaken, the mascot for the 76ers was called Hip Hop.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I think the bunny wasn't the
It was, I think so.
The bunny was called Hip Hop. They had like the 76ers had a bunny, and it was called Hip Hop.
Wow.
All of that was as a result of what Allen Iverson, I think, made, you know, that culture, hip hop culture. And at the time, I think Derek hit it right on the head, you know, during the mid 90s, you know, hip hop culture was very street oriented. It wasn't like this hybrid mumble stuff that's going on now. It was actually, you know, Locks. It was, you know, Mobb Deep. It was that type of feel. And he represented that to the T. I always tell people, I said, Bubba Chuck is going to be the last all-star to play in the NBA that played public school, high school basketball.
Wow.
Like, the rest of these guys are going to be these prep stars, you know, St. Mary, St. Vincent. You ain't going to find a cat that went to Wilson, you know, being a MVP of the NBA. Like, wow. You know, Chuck was really built from the ground up. I mean, it wasn't you know, that's why I always laugh at like his game. Like Chuck's game was really just all freakness. He was a freak. And it wasn't as polished as, you know, people. He was so much of a freak of an athlete, he didn't really have to be as polished in terms of his fundamentals. Mm-hmm. Like, Chuck was so fast and so quick with that one little dribble, he didn't have to have perfect mechanics on his ball handling. He just was faster than everybody.
Yeah.
And that was just all God-given talent and ability. I don't think you're going to see that too many more times. You're not going to see a guy just come out of the projects and work his way up to the top spot in the NBA. Like that is unheard of. Most of these guys are coddled, you know, prep kids who go to these prep schools, and they isolate them from their neighborhoods and teach them how to conduct themselves. And there ain't gonna be no more just coming straight out of pub school and, you know, your mama in the projects and your daddy's a pimp, and you know that storyline. It's gonna be hard pressed to find that. You know, I mean, you're still gonna have some struggle, but it's gonna be, you know, if you're an NBA talent, you know, people are gonna find you, protect you, and try to make sure they can get a piece of them millions of dollars you're about to make. But Chuck went to jail, came out, you know, all of that. And, you know, his mama took him up to John Thompson. The rest is history. So I think his impact, you know, was very similar to what Derek was talking about. Like, he normalized street culture. And it was, you know, the NBA tried to resist, and then they conformed. Yeah. And that was all because of Allen Iverson and the fandom that he brought to the game. Like, he almost was the polar opposite of Michael Jordan.
He was.
And Michael Jordan was the refined, UNC, well-spoken, wore all them fancy suits. You know, he tried to, you know, he you know, when Mike first came, Mike he was the original 2 Chainz. I don't know if y'all remember.
2 Chainz.
Yeah, Black Jesus was yeah, he was the original 2 Chainz. I think I had them herringbones and all that other stuff. But,
remember Jordan there? What was that? The dunk contest in '84 in Indianapolis. He had 2 Chainz on.
Yeah, that's it. The original 2 Chainz, baby.
And the snaps.
And he pissed people off with that too.
Of course, that was too hard. But then the league wasn't ready for that. But the league wasn't really ready for Iverson. But Iverson, because the culture shifted, and, you know, white America, you know, I mean, their sons were coming to the games with Iverson jerseys on
and do-rags.
And yeah, it was crazy. And I think I remember one time, Allen Iverson came into a gym. This was after he was in the NBA, and he showed up. I think, Derek, you might have been with me. I'm not sure.
That was the year he got drafted. The summer he got drafted. That was the summer before he got. No, it was the summer after he got drafted, but he hadn't played yet.
Yeah, and the cat came into the gym, man, and he created so much of a commotion. They had to ask this brother to leave, man. Like, It was that much of a distraction to the basketball game.
It was an AAU tournament. It wasn't like no regular game.
You're right. And they had to tell that cat to move. Like, he had to get out because it was creating so much of a commotion. Yeah. Anytime he moved, the whole gym moved with him. Like, all the kids. Damn. It was ridiculous. Everywhere he went, it was just cameras snapping. And, I mean, that was just a crazy period of time where he was the biggest thing on this planet. And so, yeah, for sure, man, he definitely normalized and made street culture, a popular thing.
No doubt. I agree with both what you guys said. I think, and I tell anybody, my favorite player to watch in the NBA was Michael Jordan. Second favorite, a close second, is Allen Iverson. AI, I think what he did was he did so much, and he was so far ahead of his time. And like you said, Zell, I agree. He was the polar opposite of Jordan, where Jordan was more refined. Iverson wasn't. And the thing that you said that really stands out is conforming. The NBA wanted Iverson. They knew what kind of marketing that they could put behind him. They knew what kind of, all they saw was dollars. If we can get this guy to polish himself, if we can polish him up, put him in some suits, and have him come to the arena and, have him, chilling or whatever like that. We can do commercials with him. We can do this. We can do that. He can be our spoke, because he was going to be the face of the league. He was going to be one of the ones to carry the torch after Jordan left. And, Iverson, to his credit, and some thought to his demise, but I don't think so, he stayed true to who he was. He I heard him say in an interview, he has suits, but he was like, he wasn't going to wear a suit. He was going to wear whatever he felt was comfortable to the arena. I remember him winning the Rookie of the Year award, and he shows up in you can Google the pictures. He got a jacket on. He's got a do-rag on at the press conference. He's got like a leather jacket on and a do-rag, and 5 platinum chains. But Iverson stayed true to who he was, and he didn't want to necessarily conform per se. And he also, pushed back a little bit, because I think the NBA and the suits and everybody wanted him to be, the 33-year-old vet when he was 21 years old. That's not what you're going to get with Iverson. You're going to see him show up at the game, with baggy clothes on, a jersey, blasting, I don't know, the locks in his in his headphones. So that's who he was, and he stayed true to who he was, and he was going to play his game. And and that was another thing too. On the court, they didn't like his game. Larry Brown, the legendary coach, did a lot as far as moving him from point guard to 2 guard, and I think he changed the game in that aspect too as well, because he was a smaller guard. But just off the court, man, he did so much. And I think one of the things that really stood out to me was that Iverson, people felt a connection to Iverson. Even the fans in Philadelphia, there was a connection. The old 50-year-old white Jewish banker felt a connection to Allen Iverson, because Iverson always said he played every game like it was his last. You knew he was going to bust his ass every night that he was on that court. And I think that's one of the things that kind of gets lost, that people don't talk about as much, and they probably should, the way that he played the game. But off the court, he changed everything. I mean, like you said, Zell, he was so far ahead of his time. You look at the NBA now, it's all hip hop. You can go into arena. You can go into what's the arena in Salt Lake City? They're playing hip hop during the game. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody in Utah listening to hip hop. But all of that changed because of Iverson, because Iverson was going to be who he was. And then they realized, people realized, okay, well, hey, there's no need for us to try to change this guy. Let's let him be who he is. And then, like you said, Derek, the dress code. The dress code was huge. Now, I can make a case that I would much rather see somebody come into the arena like Iverson used to dress with Timbs on and baggy jeans and a shirt, as opposed to, Russell Westbrook coming with these.
Just say it. Yeah, just say it.
with these nut huggers on. But looking like a fifth ego. But yeah, AI did so much, man. He did so much, and he's often said too that he felt like he took a lot of bullets for cats to kind of live now. And I think I think that's very true, because most of the stuff that he did, it wasn't popularized. He was scrutinized for it, and and it's funny now to hear people who, particularly sports writers, who didn't embrace Allen Iverson back then. Oh, they love him now. Right. But you see Iverson in an interview, he still looks the same. He still dresses the same. He still talks the same. He talks like a guy from Newport News, Virginia. But yeah, man, I love him. I think he probably, I could make a case that his influence on culture, on pop culture, has been bigger than the two other people that we talked about, Jordan and LeBron. I can make that case. Not saying that it's true, but I could actually make a case for it. Conversely, LeBron, how do you think he's changed culture off the court?
Jesus. All right.
Hate aside.
I'm trying to not do that. Okay. On a positive note, I gotta commend him for the stance he takes in social issues when it comes to African Americans in America. He has stepped out as being the number one NBA player. He has taken some steps that other number one players at the time wouldn't dare take for whatever reason. We can try to politicize those reasons, or say that they had like contractual reasons for everybody to buy sneakers, whatever they want to say. LeBron has taken some steps that other number one players culturally would never ever have touched. The Trayvon wearing the hoodies in Miami, the shirts, the speech at the ESPYs, going back at Laura Ingraham, I think her name is, from Fox News, making the documentaries he makes. He's done some things culturally that other top players in the world would never ever touch. So I'll give him credit for that. Off the court, he tackles issues that he who else is going to say basically fuck President? I'm not going to say his name. Who would actually say that? He said that in his prime. You know what I'm saying? Like Craig Hodges was banned from the world for winning dashiki to the White House. Let's just focus on that for a second. Let's go back in time for a second. Craig Hodges wore dashiki and got banned from the league, and we never heard him again. But he was the best 3-point shooter on the globe at the time. Let that sink in. You know what I'm saying? But LeBron said, "Fuck 45."
I love it.
So I'll give him credit for that. He's done way more than other people in his position would dare touch.
True indeed, and I don't think we'll ever get to a point where we'll see, a star that big, be that open as far as
right.
as far as taking stances and doing things of that nature.
Right.
But what about you, man? LeBron's impact.
Bron, man, I think it's been tremendous. He's kind of taken what Allen Iverson did and what Michael did into one person. Like, he's cool. He's not as hip as no one's gonna be as hip as Chuck, because his was like authentic, but he kind of is a cool guy. He listens to hip hop. He plays Jay-Z's in his car, but he's well spoken. and he kind of appeases all world. You know, he can kind of, you know, sell things and products and speak to one side of America, and he can also, you know, do a lyrical breakdown of Jay-Z's best verse.
Good point. Good point.
And so he's kind of like the best of both worlds in that sense. He's kind of the good about Mike and then the good about Iverson, and then you add a little bit of Jabbar in there with his little activism, like Jared said. I mean, he's kind of tapped into a lot of things that athletes have done singularly, you know, in their own individual right. He's kind of combined all those things. So that's part of what makes him great, is that he can navigate in all those worlds pretty seamlessly and still come across relatively authentic and natural and organic. It doesn't come across as forced. Like, there were times where, you know, like, no disrespect to Kobe, but there was times I'm saying, y'all know where I'm going.
We all know where you're going, but say it anyway. Say it anyway.
I all remember when Kobe tried to wear them platinum chains.
Hey, was that when he was rapping?
Man,
I think he rapped. If you can believe this, I think he rapped before the platinum days. If you can believe that.
Yeah. So there was a time.
So trash.
Listen, there was a time when Kobe was like, "Damn, Bubba Chuck is killing it out there. Let me ice out my neck."
Yeah, he looked so. That's what made him look worse.
And they got Kobe the fuck up out of here too with that too. It was like, hey, get out of with that bullshit.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, Kobe was his bias when he had the crooked afro. He should have just rocked that out. You know what I mean? He just rolled that out as long as he could. But anyway, because I thought he was going to braid it. I said, that nigga going to try to braid that shit eventually. You know what I'm saying?
We all thought that. We all thought it. He has to. It's too thick. He got to do it now.
He couldn't. His hairline started too far back, man. He couldn't braid it. He couldn't braid it. He'd have had a Stephen A.
Could have Ricky Davis that shit. He could have tried it. He didn't even go for it. He never not once. He never tried it once. Come on now.
He was almost there, man. I thought he was about to go ahead and go full AI, but then somebody taught him better. Was like, nah, dog, you from Italy, bro.
I mean, he rapped in Italian. That changed the whole thing.
Yeah. You can rap in Kobe.
Plus, he rapped in Italian. They was like, yeah, you can't braid your shit now.
You ain't hood.
Yeah, you not hood, G. You rapping in Italian.
Yeah, so I think LeBron definitely, you know, has tapped into all those different, you know, add those things that are very positive about Mike, LeBron, even going back as far as Jabbar and Russell and those guys, and he pulled it into one person, and that impact, I think we see it, you know, in various ways, like from his activism to what he's doing with his schools. You know, the kids who idolize LeBron, you know, they're looking at a person that tried to do it all. He played sports, doing well in the business world. He's well spoken. He's still cool. He listens to mumble rap. He listens to street rap. You know, he's not too corporate where he's lost, but he can be corporate enough.
Right.
So, he got his boys with him, you know, like quote unquote the posse, as Phil Jackson said. You know, but his posse was able to, you know, turn out some pretty nice and make some pretty good impacts on the business world. So I think from a role model, I think probably that's LeBron's strongest impact is, you know, what he's been able to show kids and show people what he can do off the court. Like, you know, the way he has flipped his whole career. And I didn't even realize that until Stephen A. Smith brought it up probably a week ago, that LeBron originally tried to do this whole sports agency company with Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, and Carmelo Anthony. That was supposed to be the original partners of that thing. And he's like, all them cats didn't really want to do it, so he got his homeboys.
Yeah.
And you know, so he just, you know, like, even his cohorts didn't believe. Like, you know, you should just think about it. Like, you got some pretty good guys who had very stellar NBA careers. Like, nah, man, we ain't messing with Bron trying to do that old agent stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right. CP3 was the first one that backed out.
Wow.
Yeah. So you think about like that vision and him being able to flip that because he's had a great NBA career and he's able to position his boys. I mean, that says, I don't think, like you got to have your friends be more than just the weed man connect. You know what I'm saying?
Or the fall guy.
Yeah. Chuck homeboy, one of them carried the gun, the other one carried the weed, the other one carried the money. You know what I'm saying? It was like, yeah.
God.
So
I can't contribute to that conversation. I refuse.
and the sad part, I've seen it up close and personal.
So have I.
I've seen the money. I've seen the money guy with the bag. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I saw him one night in the Players Club. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty for us.
That's funny.
I'll leave it at that.
Yes. So I'm done, man. But yeah, LeBron definitely for sure.
Yeah, I really don't have much more to add. I think you touched on a lot of great points, man. I think LeBron really he studied, and I think he doesn't really get enough credit for his intelligence. But he studied those who came prior to him. So, he saw what AI did. He saw what Jordan did. He saw what Magic did. He saw what Kobe did. And, he's been able to take those things and take the successes and failures for that matter and kind of roll them and try to, be who he is in his own brand. One of the things that I think off the court that he does, like you said, the social activism, I think, is tremendous because we've never seen an athlete this big actually care. And Jordan got slammed and we'll talk more about it, but, he got slammed for, comments that he made about, not, supporting a Democratic candidate in the state of North Carolina. And you saw LeBron, he went out and campaigned for Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. And in a time where I guess to be fair to Jordan at that particular time in the country, people didn't want to hear what athletes had to say as far as anything political. They didn't want to know what you believed in politically. They didn't want to know what kind of religion you had or anything like that. We're in an era now where everything's exposed and we expose so much, that LeBron actually has benefited from that, but he's not afraid to speak his mind. I think, and I said this, when it happened, I think LeBron will go down as one of the all-time, if not the greatest of all time, based on off-the-court stuff that he does. That school and the scholarships and everything for the kids that have gone through those schools that will end up, I think, going to the University of Akron, that will make a bigger impact than anything he's ever done on a court because you're dealing with education, and we know, education is so important, particularly for kids of color in this country more so than anything else. But yeah, I salute LeBron in his off the court efforts, and I think he's taken a lot from what like I said, Iverson and Jordan did. He twisted his way, and he's made it to a situation where it's going to be a success, and he's been a success, and he's also offered a blueprint for everybody else to follow. So I think that's important as well. He's definitely put a blueprint out there, and hopefully the kids that come behind him, will learn from it and keep going on the same path. Man, listen, I got to thank everybody for listening to the podcast. As you can see, we're on a roll, but we're gonna take a break right here. This is gonna be the end of this episode of the podcast. This is the end of episode 1, but make sure to come back and check out part 2 of our discussion about Jordan, Iverson, and LeBron. Once again, thanks for checking out the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I'm your boy 12 Kyle. We'll catch you guys next time. 5 Gs.
When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Today's tip from the injury law firm Greenberg and Betterman. Too many pedestrians lose themselves in their phones and have accidents when they walk. So don't do it. Greenberg and Betterman is here to help you. Contact gblawyers.com, that's gblawyers.com, and feel better.